Hi everyone, it's Mary Ellen. Welcome to Moonrise Cottage for your Scorpio December 2017 Soul Tarot reading. For those of you that are new or don't remember, I'm using the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck. And there's always a couple of announcements. I'll try to go quick this month. If you're looking for information about personal readings, how to schedule, what's available, the cost, payment methods, etc., scroll down below this video. There's a small information box. You will see the words show more. Click on them. That's a tab. All the information you need is right there. That includes information to sign up for the special live stream events that are not open to the general public. You have to purchase a $35 12-month subscription, which gives you, complete access to any of the live stream videos at your leisure. All right. Folks have been asking me about gift certificates, etc., for readings as Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. Of course, that's always possible. Don't worry about it. Just scroll down, click on show more, send your reservation through, put a note on the payment reservation, and just let me know. And my email is there at the bottom of that info, so no worries about that. Let's see, there is going to be a very special live stream event happening about halfway through December. I haven't nailed down a date yet. Anyone who would like to participate in that, that is going to be, in a sense, my last direct stream from the information that's coming through to me from the sacred passage tombs at the Boyne Valley. So, and then lastly, Scorpio, there's an amazing spread that came out today. And this is the first reading that I'm doing for the month of December because of some events that have happened and a number of people contacting me about Scorpio, and I always take my leading from those kinds of things. So if you have not seen last month's video, I urge you to go and check it out because there's information here for you that is based on last month, and Spirit's already coming through and saying the months before. So for those of you that are new, welcome. I just want you to know that I'm a clairvoyant. I channel messages through the cards, and this channel started in February. The messages that come out build upon each other, and there's been a really beautiful story of shift and change and growth, both on the human realm and from a spiritual perspective, all year long, related to all the eclipses and all the astrological events that have happened here. So without further ado, I'm going to toggle over into my streaming software, and I want to start by showing you the photo that has to do with your your spread from last month. Oh, and I apologize. There it is. I forgot to toggle. So let me show my face. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I guess it just reminds me. I am brand new at streaming straight to YouTube. I used to record the videos and upload and compress, and I decided to switch over. So little things like that continue to happen as I skill up. So apologies. This is the method we're going to use. So in a way, it's good, Spirit's saying. Let me transition back. This is the card spread from the month of November, Scorpio. And it was a very beautiful, deep, profound message about the type of let's see, Spirit, I'm getting three words at once. Spirit saying the type of spiritual upheaval, the type of unwinding, and there is a focus coming through about the beautiful card that was sitting right over the top, right? That's the spinner of growth. And if you're not familiar with these readings, the card to the far right that stands alone is the outcome card. To the left of that, that is the spinner of growth. It's a major arcana card. The card that is to the left of that in the center row is also a major arcana card. And this was the beginning of your journey last month about the winds of change blowing through your life and through the world at large as you produce seeds and harvest that which you produced over the course of the year. And having come past the great, Spirit's calling the great opening over the summer. The Spirit's talking about the 2 portals that came and the Lion's Gate and all the things that happened. Those things opened up portals for us to have an incredible adventure with the energy set points that came through to us. And having come past that and had September and October, was the journey about spinning forward on the winds of change that were created by the energy that came through. Your personal set point had to do with the remembrance of sacred lore. And so that story unfolded, and it's Spirit saying it set in motion the next step. And I did a lot of sort of Spirit's talking about verbiage. I talked a lot about that. So I wanted to start with that because the reading that came out today is very directly connected to that, without a doubt. So if you'll just give your attention to the cards in this reading for a moment, I'm going to begin to toggle back and forth and show you the cards for this month. So the Spinner of Growth, the Outcome card, which is a revelation card. That's a revelation of knowledge. It is about coming through a passage and shape-shifting and reincarnating here where you stand through this beautiful shamanistic process that was taking place for you and all the change that was coming. This month, what is over the top of the reading? The direct message from Spirit about the set point and the light and the theme that Spirit wants to speak with you about is the foundation of art. And you can see it inside of October's reading, standing on the top line right in the center. So, it's funny. I could, as you can tell, there's a lot. There's always a lot. That's why I want to do the live stream, so that we can set aside a significant amount of time so that I can really talk deeply about these things and then also converse with you, because you'll be able to have a conversation with me via the live chat. So if you haven't signed up for that, please do it. And it's also really inexpensive, wonderful way to support the channel. So here comes your cards for this month, okay? Take a look at this. Right over the top, that's the spiritual message this month. The foundation of art. And the story that goes behind this reading, or pardon me, this card, that was kind of a nice Freudian slip. So Spirit's sort of laughing at me in the background, saying, yeah, that's it. The story behind this reading, it's about being a student of the deep side, Spirit says. So back in the ancient times, people became students of philosophy and poetry and deep introspection. And in some traditions, they actually went into a deep hut, complete darkness, in order to cross over and be deep inside themselves so that knowledge could come and they could ponder what they had learned. And what specifically what Spirit wants to talk about this time is what they could create. And I did speak to that last month. So that is right on the top. Going forward, another notification about being this deep, this connected to the universe, here in this realm, and yet connected. You see the frowns around the edges of that card? So, the foundation of art is about having intense inner vision and being very committed to creating something of value. And they would go into this chamber, rest there, and then come out when morning came and recite the poetry that they had created. And so as we go into December, the darkest part of the year is upon us. We are approaching the solstice. And in these days, Spirit wants to remind you through me that if you're showing up here, Spirit's saying, through some divine accident, if you stumbled your way here to this channel, this is the topic of discussion. And There's a lot of emotion coming through my heart chakra. So I know this message is really important. Spirit saying for the soul of humanity and the heart chakra of humanity. And that's why this card came on top. So very definitely the sacred thread, Spirit saying, of ideation from last month. So please go and watch that if you haven't seen it, or as a reminder, okay? Here's the card that comes next. And the card that's, you can probably see by, if you look at the foundation of art, you can see there's a card underneath. So when I do the spread, the card underneath indicates you. So I want to show you this card. I'm going to talk about it while the picture's there. That is the augury of battle. Given all the things I've already said, that's a very beautiful card. And it really makes my heart leap with joy to see that. And I don't usually do this, but I want to just read to you some things about the mythology and the ethos of this card. So that is, an augury, first of all, is a prophecy about things to come. So if you look at these two cards together, the one on your right that is about being a sacred poet, being a creator from the deepest place within yourself, and accessing those things in connection with your sacred thread that is in touch with the universe through the energy set point that you have. In this next card that indicates your energy in the month of December, we see the poet who's been deep in the dream chamber, standing over the sacred sword of Nadu, saying prayers and chants in a state of having been transformed and being in a place of complete purity, honesty, ethical self-determination, and being vehemently and clearly motivated. Isn't that interesting? Standing in a place where you are an active champion of a sacred cause and being able to have a conquest over the difficulties that have plagued you. It is about sacred breakthrough into a place of vision and purity and intent. So the fact that both of these are about male energy, again, the place inside of you from which that type of spirit saying, spiritual ideation and bravery is what the message is. And it comes really deep. So I always sort of just insert, this is not about violence. I am not talking about typical human notions of battle. I'm talking about spiritual warriorship, Spirit says. So, this is the moment before you put your hands on the sword. And it does take some pause, and it does take some deep introspection, and a connection to your creative ability is what Spirit is saying. And if you look at this card, the augury of battle, it's a prophecy about your abilities going forward. It is about battle engagement in a sense, but it has to do with engaging with and grasping, because you're in the moment before you put your hands on the sword. So it's about grasping your power and your strength and your will toward the achievements you seek. It gives you an advantage in a place within you that is where your honesty, your ethics, and your self-determination rest. The place of purity from which your true intentions arise. And if you look at the card and the colors in the card, you can see that, Spirit keeps saying ideation, reflected there. So let's toggle over to the human walk and the bridge card. Okay, one moment. All right, so I just want you, Spirit's been saying the last couple readings, just look into these cards. If you look at the bottom left, you will see another major arcana card. That is the Guardian. And if you've been here for some of my readings, you know that part of what the message has been coming through from Spirit is about the reblending of male and female energy inside of each of us, no matter your gender set point. There are energies that flow inside of us from across the veil, if you will. in a yin-yang way, so that when each moment comes, we have the ability to understand which aspect is needed from us to activate it and to utilize it in its most sacred form. And so over the course of this year, we've been on that adventure as individual, it's interesting, Spirit's saying, as individual energetic set points, exploring the deepest part of our nature. The yin-yang equation is what Spirit's calling it, and I'm going to sort of say this again, I said it last month. Spirit's been encouraging me to talk about, encouraging people to go to YouTube and look for a video that shows the classic yin-yang symbol in motion so that you can visualize this and understand it from an energetic perspective. It's not just about men and women coming to balance as an individual given your gender set point. It's about the energetics of what's going on in the spiritual realm and what we carry within us. So Spirit's clearly chattering on and on and on about that. I'm going to clip it off there because I know you understand. But there's a lot of information that wants to come through about that. And it is the reason why we have seen two cards that indicate male energy set point as the lead-in to this reading. And then the very first step, another major arcana card on the human level, the cards on the bottom row. That is the Guardian. I'm going to show you this card. Hang on, I have to toggle up to my live feed. So the Guardian, there she is. That's the High Priestess. Do you see how she stands in this beautiful mystical realm? That's the Sacred Mother and the flow of energy. That's the aspect in which she stands, the energy that she carries. So Spirit's talking in the background about the aspect, meaning sort of the energy, the energetic set point. And that's what it looks like in human form. This particular type of energy with a feminine set point, sacred feminine energy, and there she is holding her power in her hands, activated, very activated by the sacred spiral right at the heart chakra. She is the guardian of the gateway. Isn't that amazing? So I talked a lot about this last month. We are approaching the solstice. Something is going to happen. It's going to be, I'm getting the word parallel. Parallel to, in human terms, meaning, a couple things coming through. So, very similar to the Lionsgate portal, that type of an opening, that type of an energetic pathway, if you will. So Spirit's saying parallel, and there's some information coming through. I'm just going to give it to you because this is happening live in a sense. I don't know, I haven't had any opportunity to research this. So Spirit is talking very loudly about this event on the solstice being parallel. I don't know what that means. I think that might have something to do with astrology, and I'm not an astrologer. So any of you out there watching this, let me know. Put a message on the thread for all of us. There's something about these two events. Okay, here's what I'm seeing in my mind, right? So there's like that, Spirit saying. Maybe it's a companion to the Lionsgate portal that opened, and now comes the solstice, and we see a path. Oh, you know what? Let me show you something. Hang on, just a sec. I'm going to toggle down because I loaded a picture. I didn't know why I was loading it. And Spirit told me to do it, so, I try to comply. All right, check it out. There you go. Remember that from last month? That's what Spirit's trying to talk about. Okay, so, yeah, there is another kind of gateway opening. It's the particular type of gateway that comes on the solstice. Spirit's talking about the difference between the portals over the summer and the passage. Oh, that's what Spirit's trying to get me to talk about. Sorry about that. Sometimes it takes me a minute. Okay. The passage that's actually in these passage tombs. There is always a tunnel, however short, or some of them are really long, some of them are relatively short, that you must walk through. in order to be inside the passage tomb. And then on the solstice, the sun comes up, and once a year it illuminates those passage tombs, often over the course of a couple of days. Let me toggle back. And when you're inside the passage tomb and the light comes in from outside, it's very dark inside the tomb, as you can imagine. And that's what it looks like from the inside when the light fills up the passageway. So I chattered on about that last month. I'm not going to get into it. But Spirit's saying, as we have this human concept of walking into the light, or the light coming back to the world, piercing the darkness of this time of year, at least here in this hemisphere, the days are very short. And after the 21st of December, the days begin to grow longer in small increments. So there's a lot of messaging coming through about this event and our ability to utilize this event in a very significant spiritual set point this month. And that is why the Guardian of the Gateway is here, because when I was in this passage tomb that you're looking at was at Null. And it's interesting because messaging has been coming out from that passageway for your reading last month as well. When I was in the Null passage tomb, the Guardian of the Gateway came out in many of the readings, as did the sacred goddess at the River Boyne. So there's a lot of messaging about female set point and the power inherent in that. And so it has to do, and I did talk about this, about the rise of that and the balance of male and female energy within ourselves and here in the world. And I'm assuming everybody watches the news. Look what's going on right now about the rise of female power. The balancing, Spirit is saying, I'm being corrected. It's about coming to balance. The idea is what is being balanced, and the willingness inside of ourselves. Again, no matter your gender set point, doesn't matter if you're gender fluid, Spirit says, stop worrying about that. It doesn't matter how you identify. It's in all of us. These two things, Spirit says. Okay? In all of us, simultaneously, all the time. If we're willing to understand it and utilize it, it is at our disposal. And so coming through the solstice that's coming up, that aspect, that ability, I believe, is going to be highlighted because the light is being shown in that direction. At least for Scorpio, that's the message coming through. And Spirit's saying there's an overarching human message as well. So let's toggle back and take a look at your cards again for your human walk. Okay, so there, standing next to the Guardian of the Gateway, is the Warrior of Skill, of course. And if you look at the card above the Warrior of Skill, we see a certain reflection. So there's this man standing in this mystical place where he holds also his power in his hand. Okay, let me transition over and show this to you. See that? He's holding his power. He stands at the ready. This card, people often ask me, this deck is not, it's somewhat reflective of a typical tarot deck, but there's a significant difference. This gentleman is a sacred warrior. He is, in the mythology of this deck, he is known to be impulsive in a very positive way. So there he has all of what he needs. And he stands in this beautiful place, ready to roll. Spirit says he's got his saddlebags, he's got good sturdy clothing. He's a mystical warrior. He also has his power in his hands. He has the nourishment that he needs. And when the impulse comes to him, he has the means, signified by this beautiful white horse, purity of intention, and will. Just the exact thing the Spirit was talking about in the midline set point of yourself is what Spirit's saying. So I'm going to toggle back so you can see that. So do you see how this card stands right underneath the augury of battle? So this is the type of battle you're going into. The purity of self, the purity of intention, and the ability to act on the impulse, the sacred impulse that comes, in order to get up on that horse and ride straight into whatever adventure comes to you. Whoops, sorry, holding that upside down. And there it is. It's going deeper into the quest of sacred knowledge. So it's interesting that we see these spirits calling them a visage, I can't say that in plural, of this sacred male energy seeking the knowledge that is available to it from that energy set point. And clearly that is the cauldron of all sacred wisdom. And we see angels, gods, goddesses, however you identify those beings, arising from that place and coming to a place again at the time of the solstice, while we are energetically in this very deep state. We are able to see and take up this quest. And since we're at the end of the year, obviously it's about going forward into next year. It's an energetic reset at the time of the solstice. Spirit saying, sort of putting a cap on, if you will, the learning and the change and the work that you have done over the course of this year that we're just moving out of. And so having this beautiful blend of male energy, intention, and will, the desire, the drive to go forward in all of these ways, with this advantage that you've developed and this extremely clear motivation, right? What happens in that moment is that the skill set has actually able to bond itself. You are able now to bond itself with yourself, with the two sides of your energetic set point. That is not about sacred lovers, twin flame, soulmate at all. And you've been here, No. We're not talking about that in 2017. At least not through me, Spirit says. Next year, yes, we will. For now, prepare yourself for that moment. I'm going to show you the card. Okay, here it comes. Look how beautiful that is. And this card started coming out around the time of the Ring of Fire eclipse, way back in February. And if you haven't seen them, there's a playlist on this channel with the videos that came out of the eclipse in February. There were 2 eclipses, and then also over the summer. So there you are. That's what happens when the male and female aspect of yourself is able to bond together and come to balance. Isn't that a beautiful depiction of yin and yang? Under the light of the sun. And again, Spirit's telling me to toggle back. Hang on a second, because I want to toggle back to last month so that you can see. Spirit says, look at the card on the bottom row all the way to the right. That is the sun. That was you. That's a major arcana card, the last card on your human journey last month. And after which, Spirit's having this sacred dialogue with you. And this month, here we are. The elopement of the skill you developed last month when you came to a place. That is the protector of lore on the bottom right last month. A beautiful card about standing in the light of the sun at the solstice. And that was the topic of discussion. And there we are again. That is the bridge to the spirit realm. There you go. The elopement of these skills that you've developed, taking wing and being able to be firmly aligned inside yourself with the spirit realm and going forward out into the world. Because what this couple did in the story behind this card, they came through some difficulties. They had to be reborn. She did. The feminine side of this couple had to go through a significant shift and change and rebirth. She went through that process. It was very mystical and magical, like a fairy tale, and they were able to rejoin each other. And when they did, they were in a banquet hall, and they ran to the great smoke hole, the fireplace, and rose together. Their energy having been blended, they had the power to ascend from the place where they had been Spirit's talking about the place they had been occupying and arise from that place through the chimney, if you will. And when they got to the top, they turned into swans and flew away. What a beautiful metaphor. I mean, seriously, isn't that incredible? So let's take a look at the spirit realm on your walk this month and see what that looks like. Because I know I'm talking long this month, but I'm gonna allow myself because it's a beautiful message that's coming out. Check that out. Look at that. Now, let's take a look at everything that has transpired since November. Okay, Spirit wants me to just show you the cards. So this is sort of the beginning of your walk in December, coming up to the place of the solstice, which is the second row on the far left. Spirit's telling me that's the event of the solstice. That is what you are preparing yourself for. And look what comes in the days after that. Spirit's talking again about prophecy. Isn't that gorgeous? Truly, it's astounding to me. All right, so let's look at that first card. That's the Queen of Knowledge. She hangs suspended in the universe. Do you see the glyphs on this card? Look at that. Again, Spirit's talking about the passage tombs and the solstice. And I've been talking about this all year in one way or another as these readings have come out. This sacred goddess. All right, Spirit's talking. Okay, so there's words coming through about some of the things that, all the ways in which spiritual, sacred, feminine energy is portrayed across all the different religious traditions. So whatever your tradition is, look in that direction. I don't want to go too far into that. I'm going to leave it to you because it could, that could take up another hour, but there are images coming through. Let this speak to you. This woman, she looks like she's playing a harp, and she is creating energy and vibration. But what she's actually doing is weaving based on that which comes through the passage. She sits suspended in the universe, awaiting it. Do you see the sun? Look at that depiction. Isn't that beautiful? And when that energy arises from the place in which you stand, okay? Sorry, the lights, sun's going down here, so the light's shifting and changing. There. All right, when this energy arises from the place in which you stand into the sacred realm, this woman awaits it, this beautiful goddess, weaving your energy into the tapestry of all of the sacred knowledge that we have created inside of ourselves, all the different set points, all the different astrological set points. And I've been talking about that for a couple months. This thread, having come out of the passage tombs in October, that was the message that came back, that we are creating a fabric, a tapestry, threads of energy being woven together from all the different astrological signs. And Spirit's continuing to talk to me about set point. So it's deeper than just your astrological sign, okay? Here's the next card. Let's look. Do you remember that? Look. Sacred feminine energy. It is, again, a very fertile moment. There are indications here about being in the sacred realm and having this sacred foundation. Okay. This is the first card. The second card on the spirit realm. And this card, in just the way the cards are laid on the table, okay? What is standing directly below it is that. And that is the foundation of art. Look. Isn't it beautiful that this is exactly the message I've been talking about in terms of yin and yang? So, a beautiful new set point. and understanding that that set point is clearly blowing through the winds of change, blowing that set point, if you will, energetically, moving it out into the world that we live in. So I'm going to toggle back because I want to just refresh your memory. So all that having been said, I think you can probably tell I'm getting a little choked up because this is really profoundly beautiful. That is a major arcana card. That is the mingler of energy. She is the sacred alchemist, and she continues the work that the Queen of Knowledge begins. Do you see the energy coming up through the earthly portal, arriving deep across the mystical realm? It is the sacred feminine energy that is doing the work of shift and change and rebirth and resetting and mixing. And Spirit wants me to show you something. So check her out. Look at her. Do you see that vessel? That's us, in a sense. And it's the spiral. You see the energy arising from that vessel as the sacred alchemist. The mind of the goddess is upon humanity is what's coming through. Ooh, sorry, I'm getting choked up. Look at this. Do you see that? Look. It's astounding, isn't it? All right, I'm going to toggle over one more time and we'll talk about the outcome card. This card's been coming up a lot in the readings over the last 2 months, and here it is coming for you at this time. That is the dialogue of art. And I'm not sure I even need to say anything about it at this point because of everything that Spirit says. We already talked about it. But look, the dialogue of art, the sacred blending of male and female energy. And Scorpio, for you, Spirit says, the sacred waters of deep knowledge. Look at the mandala in that water. Isn't that beautiful? That's a picture of Merlin and his sister. They were very devoted to each other during their lifetimes, and she built the sacred tower for him in order for it to be illuminated with the sun and the moon. So he had many perspectives, see all the windows, through which he could look to understand life. Isn't that a beautiful metaphor? And there they are, sitting together in the light of the full moon. Spirit saying, in the mystical realm, with the light and the energy that comes on the sacred pathway to illuminate their ability to use their blended energy to communicate with each other and know the path forward. So, going into the solstice, clearly that is the message the Spirit wants you to focus on. Your internal energy, those various aspects of yourself, each one coming to culmination in a way that is profoundly beautiful. Spirit would like you to think, sit in quiet, go very deep. Try to provide yourself with some time to just be alone. Spirit always says, if you have to go into the bathroom and shut the door and light a candle and take a bath or take a ritual shower or something, acknowledge yourself and give thanks and prepare for the solstice. And understand that on the days, a few days before and the day of the solstice and a few days after, this is what is available to you. And Spirit's telling me to toggle back to the photos. I'm going to do that. To encourage you to just look at the center line so you can understand this message. And all the other cards above and below are descriptors to help you understand what's happening in your human existence and how that's reflected above, the work that's being done in the spirit realm. So Scorpio, again, I wish to just thank you so much for everything that you are doing. Spirit's talking about all the small ways that you don't give yourself credit for. Understand that they have a very significant impact, especially now. There's a lot of thanks coming through. So I always say thank you, and I forgot, but I just continued thanks for all the folks who are supporting the channel by signing up for the live stream. I really appreciate it very, very much, and I'm feeling all the love coming in my direction. Thank you so much. So have a wonderful December. I hope you have a chance to celebrate with your friends and family in whichever way feeds your deepest aspect as a human being. Spirit's not a little joke. As a human being walking through a spiritual existence. And usually I say it the other way around, as a spirit being walking across the earth in a human shell. So Spirit says, just for a couple days, allow yourself to flip the equation. Oh, you know what? One more thing. And Spirit's kind of talking now about this guy, the warrior of skill, where you wait for the impulse to come. And then you just go into the mystical form of the urge in order to have an adventure there. So that's what Spirit's talking about. So thanks, Scorpio, for listening so much. I wish I was there to give everybody a hug. Thank you. I'll be very eager to speak to you in the live stream about the solstice event. I'm going to do a special live shuffle, and what I'm going to do is start the stream and ask everybody to just focus together our energies. Because Spirit's been talking so much about the tapestry, let's do an experiment. Let's go for it. Let's make a tapestry of energy, and then we'll shuffle. While we have discussion, I'll shuffle, and we'll do the reading. And I'm really looking forward to that. So if you haven't put your subscription in for a live stream, please do it. I really want you there. I cannot tell you how strongly I really would love to have everybody there. I'll see you again, if not at that point, in the early days of January. I'm just sending my love out to everyone. Thank you. I'm going to leave you with the pictures, okay?